A person has a bucket. The bucket has a hole. The person wants to put more water into the bucket. What is easier to do? Plug the leaks or keep putting more water into the bucket? My name is Enoch Beverly. You're welcome to the Enigma Speaks podcast. Today we're talking about how to challenge the way you think about growth and success, challenging how you think about growth and success. Last week we talked about personal leaks, and today we're talking about professional leaks, shifting to work and career. One of the biggest leaks I see is procrastination. I will do it tomorrow. So people get into buying productivity planners. They download all the apps. They attend all the management seminars, but they don't face the habit of delaying hard tasks. Every time you delay a hard task, what are you doing? You're leaking opportunities. So one thing you want to do is to prioritize. What do I need to do tomorrow at work? And I've said this before, you have to know how your work is being appraised wherever you're working. So you cannot be focusing on the minors, majoring on the minors and minoring on the majors, because at the end of the day, it looks like someone is witch hunting or someone is trying to punish or someone is just not happy about your growth. But that's not the case usually. What you need to do first is, how am I being appraised at work? So when you have tasks before you, the first thing you want to look at is, among these tasks, the difficult ones especially, which is a major, which must I major on for me to be appraised positively? Okay, when it's time for appraisal, that's what you want to start with. And because it's hard, the mind is in love with ease, comfort. So the mind is going to fight it. So what do? Break it down into smaller portions, smaller tasks. So this is the big task that makes me want to lose my mind, that makes me want to freak out. How do I handle it? What are the tiniest ways I can start handling this big task that will make it manageable for me? So you want to break it down into smaller tasks. Okay, then you start with the harder ones. Because if you start with the easier ones and your energy starts to wane, which is what happens to most of us, when it gets to time for you to start the hard task, you're already spent mentally, you're tired. And for a person who is known to delay, oh, that's a double excuse. So what do you want to do first? Ask yourself, what are the hard tasks I need to deal with tomorrow? Write them down. And then spend a little more time. Next thing is, which is the most important, which is a major. Which are the majors? Write them down. So what you could do is you deal with one hard task, in between put an easy task and get onto another hard task. So it's helping you, so the easier tasks come across like refreshment, like relaxation, like you're pulling back, then, you pull forward again. Another thing you can do in the workplace to ensure that you are growing and succeeding and plugging leaks is staying away from gossip or negativity at work. You might be brilliant, but if you're the person that entertains drama, yeah, that single action can drown your reputation and slow your advancement. You can't keep a secret. Once they tell you, everyone is heard. Doesn't matter if it's about you or about anyone else. You don't want to be that person that when people think about, they cringe. You're difficult to work with, and you're not even good at the job. Don't be that person. When you're in the workspace, you want to ask yourself if you're putting up a productive and professional image. Are you the person that when they come to with problems, you have a solution? Or you're the one that always turns down any idea? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can't do this. We can't achieve this. No, isn't this too much? Or this is not part of my job description. No. Every time you do that and people hear that, what you're saying is, I don't want to put in extra into my work. I want to do just the basic. When companies are looking to promote people, they don't look for those that do just the basic. Even if you want to say, oh, they're taking their decisions politically and not for the good health or the well-being of the company. In the long run, if you come across like that, in the long run, it would affect you negatively, because what you have also done is you've weakened your capacity to do more and take on more. And every time you take on more, you've learned something, you've become something, you've become someone that you were not before you took on that task. So you're kind of better, you're more refined, and you're getting closer to professional excellence. So when you see things that are to be done that are above your pay grade, but you can handle them, do the extra. That's what companies are looking for, the person that goes the extra mile. Because what it means is that you're showing them that you can fit into bigger shoes. And primarily, it shouldn't be about them, it should be about your professional image. So what leaks professional do you think that you can plug in the workplace? Oh, you want to get another training and certification. Bravo. The one you got before, what's come out of it? What have you done with that? What achievement, what increase in salary or increase in performance can we see that we can tie to that last certification or that last training that you went for? What a lot of people do is overload. They are filling their buckets with too much. So you've learned this, you have this training, you have this certification, but you cannot show deliverables on the things that you have learned. You cannot show deliverables on the certifications that you have. Stop it. This is a good year to stop it. Stop learning more. Ask yourself, that's why I tell people, before you pay for any course or any training, ask yourself, what am I going to do with this one right now? This is not the time and age to learn for the future, because everything is moving real quick. You need to walk before you can run. You're not walking yet, you're still crawling, and you're saying, no, I'm going to pick this certification for when I start to run. When you start to run, that certification might not be valid anymore, might be obsolete because of new technology and new things that are happening in the world. So why don't you focus on now? What do I need to help me stop crawling to stand steady first? What do I need to help me start to walk? Not what do I need to start? No. Because if we miss the development process, somewhere in the future, it's going to show. You don't want that. So that overload of information, overload of certification is a thing in the professional space. And it's a leak, a very, very big leak. Then some of us, another thing we do that is a professional leak is something that we think that our employer owes us professional growth. No. Whatever you learn for yourself. If I want a baker, for example, and I employ you, you can bake, I will only train you in the baking that I am doing. So if I'm baking strictly pastries, I am not going to train you in baking anything else, like baking meat. No, I will train you only in baking pastries until the time that I think that I want to diversify. So if you have desires, and you should have, one thing you have to realize is you must make sacrifices. The more your desire, the more sacrifice, personal and professional sacrifice you have to make. And it's not on your employer. Because while you're doing your employer's job, you should have a little time of doing your job. If you want to give 20% of your time to your job, that's fine after work. But you cannot say that my employer must feed my professional desire by training me in the things I want to learn. No, they will train you in the things that they want you to work, the tools they want you to work with in their space. So holding back on self-development because you believe that your employer owes you this training, owes you this certification, is a suicide mission. It's the Enigma Speaks podcast. We're talking about plugging professional leaks. One thing I've said is procrastination. I've told you that one way you could do that is the night before every workday, write out your task, but major on the majors, especially the harder ones than on the minors. Because when it comes to appraisal in the workplace, usually they would go with the majors, not the minors. So you might be excellent on the minors, but weak in the majors. And then there's a problem. I also told you that gossip or negativity, no, no, no. Another thing I told you is you need to focus on your personal, professional growth. Don't think your employer owes you anything. And I also said that you cannot outsource. That's the word, actually. You cannot outsource your personal and professional growth, the things that you desire. You must be willing to sacrifice personally. And that sacrifice would include money, time, and sometimes travel. Because, like I always say, you are the greatest resource. It is what you know that you use to work, that you use to solve problems for yourself and for your employer and for the world at large. And the final thing I said is avoid overload. Avoid certification and information overload. Whatever you're going to learn, before you pay for that course, before you go for that certification, ask yourself, what am I going to use it for now? Because it's not just that you are overloading yourself, it's the resource that it takes, the time, the energy, the money that it takes for you to get these things, and then you don't use them. Why? My name is Eno Beverly. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.